Last night on MasterChef Australia,
We are at the business end of this competition.
the invention test saw yet another victory for Poe.
That was the killer dish of the day.
But for Julia, the end of the road.
I didn't get to show them what I could do.
Tonight, an epic pressure test.
If you thought the crock and bush was tough, this is a whole nother level.
Our chefs have never faced a challenge like this before.
I can feel the stress bending the walls.
And guest judge Bill Granger will be expecting the very best.
I've got to say, I'm expecting a lot.
This is the high wire. Is somebody going to fall?
I think it's going to be a very, very hard decision.
Yesterday I won the Malaysian challenge, and today we have pressure test, and I've won the advantage of having tasted and seen the dish and also given the recipe cards ahead of time. They are going to be quaking at their knees.
I must say you don't look as excited this morning as you did yesterday morning, so I feel better.
Yeah, you don't.
She doesn't look as confident as she did yesterday, so I don't think her advantage is as huge, which makes us feel a lot better.
I'm really keen to get started. I'm really keen to cook. I can't wait to see what we're doing today.
All that stands between you and that final 3 is just the one pressure test.
I am really scared now. The one and only pressure test I did, I was eliminated.
And just to top the pressure off, we're bringing in a 4th judge, who is, of course, one of Australia's best chefs. Please welcome to the kitchen, Chef Bill Granger.
I'm Bill Granger, owner of Bill's in Sydney and Tokyo, and published cookbook author. I've been cooking for nearly 25 years, and I opened my first Bill's almost 20 years ago. When you put a dish in front of me, the first thing that grabs me is the presentation. Then it's the taste. The fact that everything sings together, that it all comes together as a wonderful whole.
He is a passionate home cook who then moved into commercial cooking. And to me, that makes him a bit of a role model because that's exactly what I want to do.
Mr. Bill Granger, welcome to the MasterChef kitchen.
Thank you.
What do you expect from today's challenge?
I've got to say, I'm expecting a lot. To get so far, you're obviously all incredibly talented and have a passion for food, but it's getting it out consistently every time, which is the important thing to do.
What are the real differences between being an amateur, do you think, and that big jump into being a professional?
Look, I started not unlike you guys, and I think the biggest thing I learned was how to be organised. And that's a big thing I think you guys will find today.
Poe, you had the advantage after winning the invention test. How do you think everyone's going to go today?
I think you guys should be quite scared right now. We are about to enter a world of pain.
I am trying to psych them out, but I actually feel the same myself.
Well, let's find out what you're cooking. It's a recipe especially devised by someone you've met before. Please welcome Adriana Zumbo.
Adriano Zumba, my arch nemesis.
He is the man responsible for crock and bush. He's the man responsible for panna cotta.
Oh, dearie me.
Who makes desserts like that?
You know that he's got something extremely hard for us today. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out now.
So, Adriano, tell us what our contestants will be cooking today.
Chocolate mousse cake.
Wow.
And there's an innocent little chocolate cake sitting there. Doesn't sound too intimidating, does it?
That's pretty.
Adriano, a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this dish?
10.
That's encouraging.
10.
Adriano, how long do you think it's going to take our contestants to make this chocolate mousse cake?
3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours.
Why the hell are they giving us 3 whole hours?
I understand what they were saying now, and I understand why the judges were going, you're in for a treat today.
I'm still scared. I really am starting to suspect that my advantage is quite minimal.
So on the bottom we have a cinnamon sablé, followed by, we have a layer of chocolate and blackberry mousse. On top of that we have 2 textured apples. You got one flambé, one tartane.
It's just layer upon layer upon layer of different textures and chocolates and caramels and apples and biscuits.
And then sprayed with chocolate and cocoa butter.
Shit. How are we going to do this?
Well, let's have a look where this can go wrong.
It's a biscuit bottom. You must not overmix it.
Quite a few things can go wrong today.
If you don't use cold butter, when you bake it, you get a lot of seepage of butter out.
Every single thing has got a ton of jeopardy in it.
If you overcook it, your biscuit will be too hard, your sponge, and you won't be able to bend around the ring. It'll just snap.
So we've got 9 different opportunities to screw up.
Then you go to your mousse, which you have to make a sablé on, you have to whip the cream, more chocolate.
What was that? I was just completely tuned out then.
50 degrees, take it up, maximum 50 degrees, bring it down, 26, and then back to 32.
Or thereabouts.
If you don't do this, the chocolate won't set.
Okay. I didn't even know you needed to do that with chocolate. I just thought you melt it and you use it, but, you know, clearly my knowledge is somewhat lacking.
Adriano, any last words of advice to these poor people?
Keep your head down and go hard, I'd say. That's what you really have to do. You got no time to sit around and think. Just do it.
If you thought the Croquembouche test was tough, this is a whole nother level.
This is the final week. 4 of you stand in front of us. Tomorrow, there will be 3.
You have 3 hours to produce the most amazing cake possible. Good luck. Your time starts now.
We pretty much all explode out of the gate and go a bit crazy. We were racing around, setting up our stations, getting bowls, you know, just getting straight into it.
Every minute of this 3 hours is going to be important.
Off to a flying start, like they're on track. They've all got a lot of speed and focus at the moment. I mean, the testing is, can they carry it through?
Pose, she's spent all night poring over the recipe. She's written a ton of notes. She should really be able to nail this.
The first process is to make the sablé, which is the biscuit base, and that's basically just a pastry dough.
It's pretty simple to do. You put all the ingredients into the blender, blend it to a fine breadcrumb consistency, put the egg in, and it should pull together as a light dough.
Trying to remember all these 8 layers, and you almost forget how thick everything needs to be. That biscuit base has to be quite thin.
Stage 1 is done. About to get onto my 2 types of apples.
The apples and the caramel, the next 2 parts will be crucial. If they don't get them right, I mean, their cake is disaster.
So this is the tatin part of the apples.
Yes.
And the second lot of the apples is going to be flambéed.
Yes.
Right. So the caramel's very important. Looks really beautiful, actually, doesn't it? Tell us what's in there.
So it's just sugar and butter.
So apples are going in. How long do they cook for?
They cook till they go translucent.
Right. Don't overthink it.
I know that I can do caramel. I know I can bake. So I'm not afraid of the process. It's just my time management could go really pear-shaped.
I am really happy with the way my caramel looks and smells and tastes. Yum.
Hey, Jules. How you
Hi.
going?
Good,
What's happening
thank
in
you.
there? Oh, it's very pale, isn't it? Is that your caramel?
Yeah.
Good caramel's always really brown, isn't it? So you're hoping it will darken?
Oh, I don't know. I like that colour.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
OK, it looks a touch pale to me, but, you know, we'll see.
Move along and let me go.
OK, Julie, see you later.
Christopher,
How you going?
how are you? That
Very
looks
well.
beautiful. That caramel.
certainly
Have a look
does,
at that
doesn't
colour.
it?
Deep, rich, delicious.
Got the butter in it because there was sugar and butter, wasn't there?
Yeah, sugar and butter, yep.
There's a nervous energy about you today. Are you worried about anything?
Just getting everything done on time is the main concern, you know. And I don't know what it is about today, but I'm feeling particularly nervous. I've got horrible butterflies.
Yep, so
what are you doing here?
now I'm making the cake mixture for the jacon.
Right.
There are 2 kinds of apples, and the second kind is a flambé apple. Last time I flambéed something, I got a little too close and singed my hair.
You know what you do? This is how you do it.
I don't want to make that mistake again. Gary gives me a tip that if you put the alcohol just on one edge of the pan and then move the pan slightly off the flame, that the flame will actually ignite the fumes of the alcohol.
And it will catch, and you're here.
You promise me?
I promise you.
Ah, there it is. Oh, there it is. Yes.
All my apples are basically done.
Those 2 mixtures have to be cooled, so I put them into the fridge. And then I have to mix them together and put them into a silicone mould. 1 hour's gone, 1/3 of the time down. I'm just about to put my apple mixture in the blast freezer. There's a new piece of equipment in the kitchen for this challenge, and it's a blast freezer. It sits at about -30 degrees and it freezes things really, really quickly.
One hour in, I turn around and see where Chris is at, and he's at a similar place, and that kind of put me at ease.
My biscuit base is in the oven, browning up. My apple mixture is in the blast chiller, freezing away. I've got to get onto the salted caramel mixture next. Once the sugar's brought up to a caramel, you need to glaze that with hot cream. Introduce some gelatin to it so it sets it. Once that's cooled down, you mix through some sea salt flakes. And when that's frozen, and when you eat it, you get these little bursts of flavour when you hit a bit of salt. So it's a beautiful, beautiful and really interesting layer. I pour that into the silicone mould and back into the blast chiller so I can get that frozen.
Oh, this is a great challenge. I'm loving this.
If they can pull this off today, I'll be absolutely chuffed.
Justine down the back, she's got a race face on. It's really serious. She's up to the same stage as everybody else. She's done the sablé, she's done her 2 types of apple. Now she's working on her caramel. We look at Julie. Yeah. She's stressed, she's sweating.
Caramel's not as good, is it? It's a bit light on colour. She's stressed and she's starting to look messy on the table.
What about Chris?
You know what, Chris is, for the first time in a long time I've seen him, there's a bit of anxiousness there, you know, about getting on top of it.
Poe, she's following all the rules. She's being very, very meticulous. That makes a good pastry chef. This is the high wire. Is somebody going to fall?
At the moment, the person I think who is really struggling is probably Justine. I think she's a bit stressed out.
This is probably the worst I've ever felt in regards to pressure. So much to do, so little time. So the butter and the sugar is boiling and it's extremely high heat. Then I pour the cream in and it just bubbles over. And I was like, oh no. I hope it's not burnt. Oh my gosh. I was so unsure of what I was doing.
Justine, what are you up to?
Oh, look, I'm behind now, I think.
Why, what's wrong?
Look, I've never used gelatin.
You never used gelatin before?
No, never like this before.
Okay. So what are you going to do with it now?
Chuck it in there.
Is that hot?
Yes, very hot.
Okay. Well, as long as it's got a fair bit of heat in it, you'll be all right.
As long as it's got a lot of heat?
Oh, yeah. Otherwise it won't melt. Yeah,
so if there's not enough gelatin in it?
It stops the caramel from being so liquid.
Well, that doesn't look too bad.
No, it looks quite good.
I know it's okay because the colour's beautiful.
The sablé is finished now. My biscuit base is cooked, so I get that out, put it onto a wire rack.
Oh, shit. Oh, he's gone. God, that's 15 mil.
15 mil, it's supposed to be 7.
Should be half. 7.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd do with that. That's like, you can make a big wagon wheel.
Go left!
Thanks, George.
Like a massive cookie.
What's that? I can't hear you.
Suggest make another one?
Yeah, definitely.
Or is this not
Make another one.
Luckily, I've saved the extra dough, so I can roll out another one and get that cooking. It is a setback. It's something I don't need that in my mind at the moment.
I get started on the chocolate mousse part of the cake. I have to whip cream and melt chocolate and combine those two things. The blackberries are boiled in a little pot on the stove and then some sugar is added.
I've got 43 minutes left. I'm hoping that before too long I'll be able to say I've got most things done.
And now it's time to move on to the jacon. There's 2 layers in the cake and it's there to separate the gooiness of the caramel and also the apples.
I haven't even assembled my cake and that needs to go into that thing.
I then start pouring my mousse in, and that's when I realise it's very runny.
It seems very watery, so I'm going to blast freeze it and it will set really quickly.
Adriano actually said to us, the blast freezer is your friend, use it.
I'm a little stressed because I just feel like I've got so much more to do and nothing's cool. Actually, they're all right.
It's almost like a rough job. I don't have time to make sure that's perfect. Just do it.
You have half an hour to go.
If you're not assembling your cakes by now, you should be very, very worried.
Half an hour's nuts. It'll be cutting it so close, it's not funny. That blast chiller better be really cold. So much going on. It's hard to get your head around.
I'm putting my mousse in a mould. I'm going to freeze it and then put in the next layer so that it's nice and cold and the caramel. I think we all might be pushing it for time.
I'm just starting my layers off now. So my mousse first. I think that's what I'm doing.
I think I question a couple of times and look up to see where everyone's at and if I am falling behind. And I feel like Julie's just going great guns.
I've put it into the freezer, I go back to my bench, and what do I see? The decorative Joconde.
Oh, no! Oh, God.
It's great when other people fluster and mess up. It means they're slowing them down.
Where's the Joconde?
No, that's what she's screaming at.
Yeah.
I didn't put my thingy on the side.
The Joconde sponge is The decorative one goes around the outside.
Julie, you forgot the jacon.
Yes!
Oh.
I can start again.
No, don't start again.
You've only got 25 minutes to go. You've got to be kidding.
Rightio.
Go.
That's a lesson to everybody else. Don't forget the chicon, yeah?
Oh.
If somebody messes up, you know, it's music to your ears.
You have 15 minutes to go. I can feel the stress bending the walls.
Layer of mousse, which is here.
The next layer is the caramel disc. Then there's a layer of jacon, which is very fragile. I'm a bit nervous about it. Then there's a layer of mousse, a layer of apple. Then there's a layer of jacon. Then there's another layer of mousse, and then the sub-layer.
You have to make sure everything fits nice and snug or else it just won't hold together.
So my cake is layered, it's in the freezer, and now to work on the garnishes.
Go, Po.
I'm very, very proud of them. I think this is absolutely amazing.
If I gave this challenge to somebody in my work who has never done it before, they
wouldn't be able to do it.
Wouldn't be able to do it.
As I put it onto the bench to unmould it, I have my first real moment of fear.
I'm about to unmould my cake. I'm absolutely terrified right now.
Please, please, please.
So now's the time to ramp it up and rev it up. Let's go.
I'm absolutely terrified right now.
Hell.
And I need it to come out. It'll pass.
I'm really happy that I've got time left after I've unmoulded my cake to decorate it and make it look as beautiful as I can.
I'm going to serve this cake with a mould around it. This is not good.
You have 5 minutes to go.
Everybody is scrambling like lunatics to get their cakes done.
Oh, it's not set.
I had so little time left. I turned my cake over. It was a total disaster. All the dimples were just horrible craters of mess.
Be ugly.
My head just caved in and I just kind of gave up at the end.
I've got to heat the mould. If I got to get this off, it's chocolate. I need to melt something around it so it comes off nicely. So I get a little blowtorch. Thank God.
I know that I'm the first person to spray because I haven't heard anybody else's spray guns going.
Is that the right noise?
Yeah, the sound of the spray guns is quite loud and you do feel like you're a little bit in a hardware shop.
And I just spray the hell out of that cake.
You have 2 minutes to go.
It's ridiculous.
Keep going. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it was absolute chaos.
You have 1 minute to go.
Oh my Lord. Oh shit.
Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's it. Step away from your benches. Well done. Brilliant job, brilliant job.
I look around and I do appear to be the only one who's put all the garnishes on the cake and done the white chocolate part. Wow, I was more organised than everyone today. That's, like, unheard of.
Tell you what, to go through that experience of making that cake, I'm never going to forget that, ever.
All I managed to plate in the end was just the cake.
That was mental.
I'm feeling like I let myself down, considering I did have a one-up on everyone.
I don't think I'm in trouble, but I could be. Yeah, I could be in trouble.
I'm the first one to go in. And when I plonk the cake down in front of them, I kind of have a little bit of a nervous giggle. Because it looks hideous. And when I cut into it, the caramel is very sticky. I was just mashing the cake so much that when it got to Gary, it was just not even recognisable as a slice of cake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can leave us to taste.
Okay.
Let's hit the presentation first. She's had some trouble, hasn't she? She's missed off the decoration on the top, the little hazelnuts, the little chocolate decoration. But in saying that, everything's where it's supposed to be.
Let's be quite honest, this is a fine effort. But in terms of flavour, look, I think there's probably a bit too much caramel in it.
I mean, it's a beautiful, exciting riot in the mouth, and that's what you want this dish to be. I want a little bit more boom of blackberry in the mousse.
For me, the flavours are all balancing really well, and for that, you know, pastry can be all about technique, but if you don't have the palate to make it interesting and modern, it can just be, you know, it can be anything, and I think she's got that. She's got the palate. The technique she can work on, but for me, the palate's there.
Right, we've tasted Poe's chocolate cake. Let's get the next one in.
I'm freaking out because I don't know whether it's worked or not. I don't know whether it's all squished into one big mess in there. It's all going to come down to me cutting a slice out of it and seeing what the inside is like. I'm over the moon. It's just perfect inside.
It's looking good so far, Chris. Nice layers, beautiful.
I'm feeling like $1 million.
Chris, thank you. We'll taste now.
Thanks, guys.
I think he's done a really good job.
100%. It looks spectacular.
And the thing that I got on this one was these little pops of salt in the caramel.
Overall, the flavours are incredible. That salt, it's incredibly subtle, and it doesn't overpower the chocolate, which is really, really important.
It's a bit like having Pop Rocks. Remember we had Pop Rocks as a kid? And you put in your hand, and you lick them, and you go... And it's the same thing, but it's using salt on that basis. That's exhilarating.
So well done on Chris, but let's taste the next one.
This is the first time I see the inside of my cake, having been turned out of its mould, you know. Oh, God's okay. I think it looks good. The layers are all separate from one another. They haven't smooshed in together.
There you go.
I think it looks good.
Fantastic. Well, please leave us and we'll taste your chocolate mousse cake.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Cheers.
For me, the genius of this cake is taking so many disparate elements and making them one. So it all just melds in your mouth. For me, I'm just getting lots of different things.
Oh, I agree. There's some definite issues in terms of flavours melting together, but wow, what an effort. She tempered white chocolate, you know, she made the curls, she painted these little hazelnuts, she layered the cake.
It is extraordinary. The thing that I feel a bit let down with, though, is that now I've eaten it, it doesn't deliver. It doesn't have the same depth of flavour as Chris's. These are the same ingredients, the same recipe, but it doesn't taste the same.
So, gentlemen, onward to the next chocolate mousse cake.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I'm okay with the way it looks, I guess. It's... Actually, what am I talking about? I'm not happy with the way it looks. It's plain. You can see it's quite a rough job. I put my hot knife in the cake and it should not be this tough to cut into my cake. This base is too thick. I can't even cut the cake. That's not a good sign if you can't cut your cake properly.
Justine, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justine. Can you get through the base? Valiant effort that she got this cake up. The chocolate mousse has got a good flavour. The caramel is the right colour, it's slightly salty, it's got a good texture. The negatives? The chocolate mousse is a bit grainy. The caramel's really thick.
It's a little bit Fred Flintstone in appearance. It's quite chunky. The biscuit's way too thick. But it's weird because you actually break it. It's hard to break into, but once it goes into your mouth, it melts away.
It's actually quite tender. It doesn't have a tough crumb at all. For me, there's so much that is technically right. It's holding together for such a big cake, and I think it is too big. I think that's a negative on it, but it has held.
Well, we've tasted all the mousse cakes. I think we need to get them back in. I think we need to talk to them. We need to take this very seriously because someone's going to go home. I think it's going to be a very, very hard decision.
The judges have tasted all our dishes. This is the part I hate.
We're at a crucial stage of the competition, so we need to ask you some questions. Chris, Bill obviously doesn't know what you want to do. Can you explain to him?
I run a beer society, and part of that is developing recipes that either use beer as an ingredient or match beer to food, and the idea is to take that into the real world and open up a beer-focused bar and restaurant, and that's the dream I have.
Has that changed with the competition and what you've learned and the way you've seen your skills grow? Has that idea changed at all?
Not one single bit.
They're passionate about their industry. They don't want semi-committed people. They don't want to give the title to someone who's not going to use the opportunity to advance their food career.
Julie, is cooking every day your calling?
Cooking every day is my calling. I already cook every day, and I know it's only a small part of every day, but it's the best part of every day. If I could do that for more of every day and make more people happy with it, yeah, that's a calling.
You ready to go home, Julie?
I'm ready to go home, but not for a few more days.
Great.
Justine, the goals that you came into MasterChef with, are they the goals that you've got now?
I can open this bistro. I will open this bistro. It'll be a small place, but I can picture it in my mind, and it's going to happen. Maybe not next year, maybe the year after or the year after. I need to make some cash first. But I don't want to do anything else. I've done my desk job. I don't want to go back to that. I don't feel like I want to do anything else. You know, I try to look for other things that inspire me and I'm passionate about, and there's really nothing. I don't want to just cook for myself or my family. I want to cook for strangers. I just want to see people light up and go, that's pretty cool, that dish is awesome, I wonder what she's put in that. I want that. Yeah.
Po, you've come firing out of the blocks in this final week. How come your performance has been so strong?
I think I've just relied a little bit more on my intuition rather than trying to maybe plate up something I thought would please the judges. And I've started to cook dishes that are familiar to me, that come from my childhood. And I guess being closer to the end and having that second chance made me really want the prize. And I'm ready to go.
Thank you all for your frank answers. One of the four of you could be Australia's first MasterChef. But for one of you, the dream is about to end. Chris, you're still in the competition. Well done.
Thank you. Well done, man. Thank you. It was brilliant, that cake. And when you cut it and put it on the plate, we just went, wow. How you pulled that off to get that all perfect. And not only that, it was so harmonious to eat. Everything just went with each other beautifully. Well done. Thank you.
Music to my ears. It sounds like a really good, positive thing. There wasn't really any negatives whatsoever.
Julie, you're still in the competition. Well done.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved. I'm sick of sitting there in the bottom two, not knowing my fate.
Julie, it was a joy to watch you cook today because you cook with joy. We rag you constantly about your presentation, and that was, quite frankly, amazing. You were the only person in that time. You, who aren't necessarily the best with time management, you were the only person, and to bring us something that looked so close to that paragon chocolate mousse cake that Adriana put in front of us. So I'm a little bit in awe of you.
Thank you.
Well done.
It's bittersweet to hear that I'm in, because as happy as I am about that, either Justine or Po are leaving. Both beautiful, strong, talented women who I love.
I think there's no doubt that this is by far the toughest decision we've had to make. Po, Justine, it comes down to the dish that you've cooked. Po?
I know that I'm in danger.
You're still in the competition. Justine, you're out. Justine, I see an awful lot of young chefs. I talk to an awful lot of young chefs. I eat a lot of young chefs' food. And you are very unique in what you can do, and you're very unique in your ability. That's spectacular. So I know if I don't see you in a week or a month, I'll see you again. I think you have an incredibly bright future in this industry, whatever you want to do. So thank you so much for bringing us some spectacular food, and thank you so much for being one of the bright stars of MasterChef.
Thank you. You know, I've had the most amazing time on this show. Sorry. Out of 7,500 people, I've made it here. So that's pretty cool. And I've made contacts. I've met all of you. So.
Gary gets a little bit emotional.
Justine,
Sorry, I'm just...
It's okay. I'm going to tell you something. When George and I see... You're making me cry. That's ridiculous.
George can't speak because he's also quite emotional.
That's bullshit.
I knew that the tough guy thing was all an act. I knew it.
When George and I watch you work, and from a very chefy point of view, and I never cry, and it's ridiculous, and I don't know why, but I can just see the fact that all my lieutenants that I've had in the past have been just like you.
Just to get such kind and genuine words off the judges really touched me. It really did.
You know what's funny? He wants you in his kitchen. I want you in my kitchen. Matt Moran wants you in his kitchen. Guy Grossi wants you in his kitchen. Jacques Ramond wants you in his kitchen.
Wow. Very good. Oh. Jacques gave you 10.
Did he?
Yeah.
Think about that. That is amazing.
I never knew that they felt so proud of me.
It's been emotional, but unfortunately, you haven't made the final cut, and it's time to leave the MasterChef kitchen. Thank you, Justine.
Thank you all.
And the very best of luck.
Thank you. It was really hard to say goodbye to Julie in particular. She's been a little bit of a rock for me.
Good luck, Justine.
Good luck, Jazz.
Thank you. It was a goodbye, but a not goodbye for good. I'll definitely see them, and maybe one day they'll eat in my restaurant. You know, it was sad, but I didn't want to look back. I wanted to look forward. Who knows? Who knows what I can do? The world is my oyster. The judges say I can do it. I believe I can do it. I've got what I wanted from this show.
Wow, it's sad. But can I just tell you something? You're the final three. MasterChef Australia. 1, 2, 3. Poe, you scraped through.
I know.
Scraped through.
I felt very lucky. That's the word. I thought luck played a huge part in it.
Let's not forget, things are going to get harder. They always do. If you thought today was hard, you wait.
Oh, jeez.
We wish you the best of luck. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
We've made it. There's just one more elimination tomorrow, then it's the finals, so scary, really scary.
I really savour the moment because the moment's not going to last. Tomorrow's hurtling towards us like a train. I've got to be ready.
Coming home today, I guess it's not as weird as the first time.
Welcome back, darling.
For the second time. It's now time to really go back to reality. I know I don't want to go back to my normal life, and it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit confronting to know that, right, I've got to get on with it now.
How are you?
Matt Moran is standing at my door. Come into my house.
Well, I was just thinking, you know, all the things that you've accomplished since you've been on the show.
9 out of 10. Well done.
You know, you are the youngest competitor. I think you have got so much talent. So basically what I want to do is take you under my wing, be a mentor to you, come in and work with me at RE while I'm still there.
Yeah.
Just give you sort of hands-on experience.
I'm speechless. I think my mouth just went, oh! Oh
my gosh, are you for real?
I'm for real. So just come out and hang out and let me be a mentor for a while.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you
So it's a yes, obviously.
Yes. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. I would love that. I'm really sad that the MasterChef journey's over for me, but this show has made me believe more and more in myself every single day. I'm going to make it in this industry. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make it work so I one day can have my own restaurant.
No worries. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Tomorrow night on MasterChef Australia.
Today is the final hurdle to the finale.
It's a 90-minute special as Chris, Julie and Poe fight it out for a place in the final two.
It'd be devastating to miss out so close.
They showcase their own cookbook menu for best-selling author Donna Hay.
I'd like to see your cover recipe absolutely blow my socks off.
It's their last chance to impress, and someone is going home.
I have completely stuffed this dish.
One of the three of you could be Australia's first MasterChef, but for one of you, the dream is about to end.
If I go home today, there'll be no one to blame but me.